Welcome to Talking Tobacco, episode 5, and we're going to be continuing the conversation on the fall blends that I'm trying to smoke September through November 2023. So basically what I have done is put away, just to recap, put away my summer blends, which were Virginia and Virginia Perique blends. I put them away. And I absolutely love them. And I'm going to admit something. I put them away too early. It's still warm here. It's still getting up to mid-70s at least. And I probably broke out the Burley a little too soon. But I have been smoking the Virginia a ton before the summer too. And I'm just trying to get back to the tins that I have had open for a long time, a couple years now. And I just want to give them a fair chance. And this is the time of year to do it. So I just want to see, it's kind of like an experiment. Like if I spend some time with these blends, give them an actual chance instead of smoking one bowl and putting them away. Break them out and, try them in different pipes. Try them with different beverages. See if I actually like them or not. This way I know, and I won't buy them again if I don't. And if I do, then I'll keep rotating these blends. This way I also don't get tired of a blend. I wonder if the codgers or the older guys think that that's crazy if you can ever get tired of a blend, because I know there's a lot of guys that just have a primary blend that they smoke 90% of the time. So I'm hoping that's not the case for me, that I would ever get tired. But I'm sure there's a blend that, you smoked at one time, all day, every day for years, and all of a sudden your taste buds shift, or maybe you ran out and you started smoking something else, and then it all changed for you. So this is more of an experiment, and to just shake things up and keep things interesting. Again, just to get back to trying different blends, because I'm also trying to stop myself from continually buying new blends I haven't had when I have all these blends in the cellar untouched. By the way, it is absolutely pouring here right now. The sky's just opened up, so if you hear rain in the background, it is coming down. Now, it does kind of feel like fall. So anyway, let me tell you what happened this week. My favorite time of day to smoke a pipe, and again, I probably most days maybe only get one bowl in one bowl in a day anyway. But my favorite time is that early morning coffee on an empty stomach. So that's probably where I judge most of my blends. Like, I don't know if any other time of day I could say, like, for example, if I had a blend where I thought, oh man, that's an afternoon blend or that's an evening blend, I don't know if those blends would ever be considered my favorite, because my favorite time and when my taste buds feel the best, like that, I feel like I'm really tasting everything, is when I first get up with that cup of coffee. And I feel like the blends that I like during that time are definitely going to have an advantage over any kind of blend I smoke later in the day. And again, that's just probably me for the most part. Time of day is a factor, and that's my favorite. So anyway, I tried the Burley Flake number 3 this week. In the morning with coffee, and that's just not going to work. It's just not. It's not going to work. So this is just to recap. This is Cornell and Deal's Burley Flake number 3, and I'll tell you why that's just not going to work if you haven't had it. It's a mix of dark and light Burleys, Dark Fire Kentucky, and Perique. So for me, I'm getting mostly Dark Fire Kentucky. That's coming through the most. The dark and light Burleys, I don't know if I'm really even detecting any typical Burley flavors, like the nutty, the coffee, the cocoa, those flavors that I love from a blend like H.H. Burley Flake, which I have in the cellar, but it's tinned. So I feel bad to go open it right now when I'm trying to get back to blends that I've already opened. But anyway, the Dark Fire to me is driving the bus in this blend, and I don't have a ton of experience with Dark Fire, but you know, every time I've had it, anytime it's in a blend for me, I feel like that's what I taste the most. And maybe it's because I haven't had it a ton, but it really sticks out. So for the morning coffee, it's not going to work for me. So Dark Fire, I taste the most, then probably the Perique, and then last the Burley, which is kind of defeating the purpose because I'm looking for that Burley and those Burley flavors. So I posted on Instagram this week, I think it was on Saturday morning, that I was going to try the Burley Flake number 4 from Cornell and Deal. It's the same components as Burley Flake number 3, except it swaps out the Perique for the Latakia. Now, I don't know if the proportions are the same or not, you know, from C&D, but just doing that, the Burley Flake number 4 is a lot softer. That Latakia is very creamy. It is something I can smoke in the morning for sure. I was trying to jump on YouTube and watch some videos on Burley Flake number 4 just to see what some of the other guys at the YTPC thought. And there wasn't really a lot of videos on it. I know Beans 316, he really, really liked it a lot. He thought it was maybe his favorite out of that Burley series. But he seems to really like strong blends. Although he does smoke some straight Virginias too, that I've seen him like a lot, like Sutliff's Virginia Slices. And I have that, and that's real subtle. But I think if it's not a straight Virginia and there's multiple components in it, I think Beans is looking for, you know, some pretty strong flavors. That's just my opinion from the videos that I've watched of his over the years. So that blend is soft and creamy. You still get the dark fired flavors in this blend, but the Latakia softens it a lot more than the Perique did. The Perique, you know how Perique just makes it spicy anyway. That combination would probably be better after lunch or dinner. But the Latakia does soften the dark fired, so it is manageable for me in the morning anyway. I don't get much of the coffee and cocoa notes that I usually like with Burley though. But it's more of like a creamy, dark campfire, you know, from the dark fire, almost like a campfire creamy smoke. And I'm going to have to leave the Burley Flake number 3 for later in the day, probably at least for after lunch. And that's where it might fit. After lunch or evening is probably where that's going to fit. Also, just to recap my fall blends, the other ones in that series that I picked, the other blends that I picked for my fall blends were the Cornell and Deal Burley Flake number 3, Burley Flake number 4, Cobblestone Outdoor Hiking, which is, they say, a straight Burley, but man, those flakes are black. That is pretty good as well. And Cornell and Deal's 8-State Burley from 2021. That could be my morning blend too. That's really on the lighter side for a Burley. And that's really good. It's got some Oriental in there, and it's light. So I could definitely use that for my morning blend when I want a lot less Latakia. And then speaking of Latakia, when I want some during this fall season, I pulled Squadron Leader from Sam Gowith for just to have one light English blend in my fall rotation. And then we'll start getting into some heavier Latakia once December hits. When getting back to the videos that I was watching on the Burley Flake number 4, I saw an old Matches 860 video, RIP Matches, and you know, he liked it a lot. And when he's talking about Burley Flake number 4, he says that there's not much Latakia. And what's funny is I think that's what I taste the most in the blend. It's funny how your tastes change. And it's probably, for me, the reason that's happening is because I haven't had Latakia now probably in 10 months. Because I have been smoking Virginias now from probably the beginning of the year, even through the winter in the beginning of 2023. So you put a lot of key in a blend, I'm going to taste it. So for me, I mean, it really stands out. It's so weird how that happens, because I used to smoke such heavy Latakia blends, and if it wasn't something like Westminster or Pirate Cake or Bengal Slices, man, I thought it would hardly have any Latakia in it. It's just so funny how your taste changed. I stepped away from Latakia, and now if Latakia is in the room, I'm tasting it. If somebody opened a jar of Latakia across the room and I'm smoking a straight Virginia, I can taste the Latakia. That's how crazy your taste buds change once you deny it something for a while. And you'll see, I've seen a bunch of videos on YouTube of guys talking about that, like resetting your palate. I didn't really understand that, at the time, because I've never really tried to do it. But if all of a sudden your blend's not tasting the same and you usually smoke something heavy, switch off it and go to something light and smoke that for a few bowls, and then go back and you'll be like, oh man, yeah, I can taste it now. And also, probably cleaning your pipe might help, which I've found that I have to do once in a while. All of a sudden I can't taste something right, and I'm like, man, you know what? I haven't really deep cleaned this pipe, like an alcohol swab. So that's all for now for my fall blend update and where I am with Burley Flake number 4. I have a feeling I'm going to have to mix in another Virginia blend, maybe a dark Virginia. I have Carolina Red Flake from a couple years ago. I might mix in for now while it's still in the 70s here. I feel like I'm cheating already on my fall blends, but I don't know if the weather's going to work with these. I have all dark blends except this 8-State Burley, which I do like, but I'm not going to want to smoke that Burley every morning. So we'll see. I'm almost going to treat this like a audio diary. This is just what's going on. This is what I'm doing. If you find it interesting, if you find that you like listening to pipe tobacco talk, regardless of what it is, I think this might work for you. So what I'm going to do is, in the show notes, I'm going to leave a form. It's going to have a bunch of questions on it. I'm trying to figure this thing out. So I want to know, I'm probably just going to leave a few different questions in the form, like, what are you most interested in hearing? Do you want to hear more interviews? Do you want to hear the audio diary? Do you have a suggestion for a fall blend, or maybe list your favorite fall blend? So I'll have a few different questions in there. If you get a chance, just click on it, fill it out for me. I would appreciate it. I really looked at this thing like I just wanted to contribute back to the pipe smoking community and some content, because I'm always looking for new content. And I've been watching the videos for like 5 years and listening to the podcast, and sometimes I wish there was more, because I already get around to everything. So this is just me contributing to trying to get more content out there. But I also want you to enjoy it, and I'm curious as to what would you prefer? Like, where would you see the podcast going? Where would you like it to go, basically, in this questionnaire? It's going to be like 5 questions. So you're going to be able to click on it with your smartphone and just, type in a few things for me. I would appreciate it. So again, I'll be back next week with my next update. I'll let you know if I mixed in a new Virginia or if I kept the fall blend going. And I'll probably have another guest, or Jay might stop back and smoke with me too soon. Anyway, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Have a good week.